Well, we are still messing around with the village of Grapevine. Well, they say Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, and neither was this. Not even repaired in a day.
And I think one of the reasons why is when I'm outside, I mostly spend my time roaming around.
Yes. Who wouldn't?
Anyway, we're still messing around with this. The whole idea was this summer we would just work on the Garden Railroad a little bit here and there. Now, previously we'd been working on the boardwalks. And this is just one of those things I've always said. You can't build anything for the Garden Railroad that's indestructible, so rather than trying to make it indestructible, just make it easy to fix.
There you go.
And I think if you can make something easy enough to fix, it won't screw up in the first place. It's like reverse Murphy's Law or something.
Yes, or another way to take a trip.
In this case, no sooner did I get the boardwalks built than a giant rainstorm came through and all the wood buckled.
Isn't that interesting?
It looks kind of, but it's realistic. I'll bet the real boardwalks did this.
We know they do this. I've tripped over a few of them.
Back when I built a deck on the house, they kept saying, "Well, don't put the boards right up against each other. Leave, like 4 millimeters between them."
Yes.
Well, I understand why now.
Exactly.
Didn't do that out here. At any rate, again, the easy fix is if nature's going to pop the darn things up, just pull them out, clean out the area, and glue them right back down.
That's what you do.
And then I thought, while they're out, if I just take them in the shop and put them on the belt sander and just knock a little bit off of each board so that they fit in here looser to try to get my scale 4 millimeters that I should have put in there in the first place, maybe that'll keep them from popping up.
I hope so.
And then when they do pop up, inevitably, I'll just glue them right back down.
Yes.
I've been using this Gorilla Wood Glue Ultimate, and it's well received on the internet. Everyone praises it. There's like Typebond makes a version, but you read the formulas, they're the exact same glue.
Oh.
So I've just been using the Gorilla Glue. So as I say, easy peasy fix. Just pull up any of the boards that came loose, sand the edges so that they fit in there a little bit looser, clean out the area to get rid of any existing glue or gunk, and glue the boards right back down.
That works.
I just slather on a decent layer of this glue and then stick the boards down. I suppose in a perfect world I'd set a weight on here so that the glue is spread as thin as possible underneath, and that always makes it stronger. But again, keep it simple, stupid. I just stick the boards in there and glue them down.
Well, it looks natural that way because I have never seen a perfect boardwalk.
For the exact reason that these are.
Exactly.
Wood warps. It's what it does. In the For What It's Worth department, I put a small amount of Thompson's water seal on here. And a lot of people said, if you really want these waterproof, use something other than Thompson's water seal.
Really?
So I don't know. I've always used Thompson's and I like it. But we may do a little research there in the meantime. I'm just going to keep using the Thompson's water seal.
There you go.
Now, on to today's actual subject, and that's making signs to go on the buildings.
Right.
And the reason I wanted to start off with repairing the boardwalks is first and foremost, last time we met, I showed that they had gotten damaged, and it's like, well, here's how that's going to get fixed. But it brings up an important point, and that's that anything you put outside is going to get destroyed.
Exactly.
Try parking your car outside for 5 years and see what happens
I've
to
shopped at the store, it's scary out there.
So, again, keep it simple, stupid. These Polo buildings come with stickers with different names of things on them, and you can stick those on the building, and after a few years they fall off. So the key is, whatever you put on here, understand that it's going to last for a couple of years, and then just make it so that you can easily replace it. So our plan was, let's just figure out a way to print up some signs. Then whenever we need to replace them, we can just reprint them. And in fact, while I'm making these, I'm going to make up 4 or 5 spares and keep them in the drawer. And then that way, when these curl up, sun bleach, and fall apart, we'd just go to the drawer and grab a new one.
Right.
Now, our goal here was to make our own signs, but I did a little research online, and you can get the same kind of stickers that come with the buildings, the Pola waterproof stickers, and you can just order those online.
Right.
You can just upload your graphics to a place, and they send you out a sheet of stickers. The only downside is it's ever so slightly expensive, and the smallest order you can get are 20 of them.
Oh.
So every single sign is going to require a different sheet, and therefore it's going to cost another, $5, $10 or whatever, and then you've got 20 of the exact same sign. So I thought, let's just make our own.
We can do that, and I think it's more fun anyway.
Absolutely. Now, because I wasn't terribly obsessed with print quality, just plain old garden variety paper on our regular inkjet printer with just the normal settings that we would use.
Yes.
Fortunately, we have this great paper cutter.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing. We had those at the schools that I work for.
You can cut really heavy material. I've even cut brass on this thing.
Yeah, plastic, heavy plastic. Yeah, anything.
So it's a handy thing. I bought it clear back in about 1975. So it's been around the shop a while. But it's great because it makes cutting out very accurate, very square little signs really simple.
Yes, better than scissors. Just watch your fingers.
So the first thing to do, though, was figure out how big the signs would be. So I just printed up a whole bunch of different signs and said, will this fit here, and does this font look okay here, and should the font be bigger, should the font be smaller, should the sign be bigger, should the sign be... A lot of signs found their way into the trash can.
Yes, that usually happens.
So here's the first sign I printed up for the Nevermind, and as I'm looking at it, I'm going, it's just, they wouldn't put a sign that small on here.
No, you've got to be able to see it.
I mean, look at that. It looks silly.
You're already there by the time you discover what it is.
You need a ladder to read the sign.
Yeah.
So, well, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Gotta
Where am
print
I?
a bigger, and on the other side, this is the same sign over on the other side. It's even sillier over here. So I thought, okay, I need a bigger sign for this side and still a pretty good size sign for the other side. So I just printed up several different signs in several different sizes. And this great big one, I thought, that's going to be way too big to even use out there. And as it turned out, that was the best one for the east side of the mine building.
Oh, yeah.
You've just got to set things in place. And that's one neat thing about just having the inkjet printer. You can just make stuff up and try it out. Now, I want to put one Railway Express Agency sign on the depot.
Yes.
But the thing about Railway Express Agency signs is they're just really, really cool.
They are.
And so I thought, I'm just going to make up a whole bunch of them in a whole bunch of different sizes. I'll pick one out and stick it on the depot and then keep the other ones, and they're going to end up all over the place.
Like up here?
I guess, yes, as a collector, one of the things you do is you collect stuff.
Well, remind me not to stand stationary for too long, okay?
And it does demonstrate how much I love Railway Express Agency signs. And then I thought, these have to be high gloss because the real ones are enamel.
Right.
And so they have to look like an enameled sign, which is very, very shiny. Our original plan was to just laminate these. You've got this laminator.
Yes.
And you were suggesting that as long as we leave a little border around the edges so that it seals the paper inside, it should be pretty waterproof.
Right. It usually is. If you trim it too close to the paper, then that plastic doesn't cover the core of the paper, so moisture can get in.
So I thought, I'm going to leave just like 1 or 2 millimeters
Right.
outside the paper. And so for that reason, I thought I'm going to cut the signs out first, the paper signs, and then just loosely put those inside the little sleeves that you laminate. And then on the cutter, I can cut right up next to the sign. Mm-hmm. But I have to pre-cut the signs to size. Otherwise, I won't be able to put that little edge around it.
Right.
So you can see here the process. I've already cut out the signs that say Village of Grapevine, made sure they fit the building and get them to size, laminated them in this case, the dull coated, the matte finish material, And then because it's transparent, it's easy to see where the sign is, and I can just go in on the cutter and just keep cutting in closer and closer.
Right.
Until I have my nice little border on there. These laminating sleeves, they call them. It's just sort of like almost like a little envelope or something.
Right.
But they come in 3 and 5 millimeter thicknesses. I found the 5 millimeter doesn't work at all for this. It leaves a bubble at the edge.
Oh dear.
So you want it to seal right up to the paper, so the 3 mil does that, the 5 mil does not.
I see.
And then it comes in gloss and matte.
Neat.
So all the signs are matte except the Railway Express Agency signs, which I want to look like an enameled sign. So I just used gloss on those. And there it is.
That looks really nice.
Now, like I say, I made up all kinds of spares. And that way I can just throw all the spares in the decal drawer. We have a decal drawer.
Yes.
And when these fall apart, as they inevitably will, hopefully they'll last for 2 or 3 years, just go to the drawer and grab a new one.
Exactly.
Now, to stick them on, this is one of our favorite products, this fast capped double stick tape.
Boy, that stuff, it's automotive grade, boy. Once you stick something with that, it is stuck.
And it seems to be kind of water resistant. And right up against the building, it shouldn't get a lot of water back in there. And like I say, when it does, we just replace them.
Exactly.
So I just went ahead and stuck the one side to the back of the sign, and then very carefully cut out the material around the edges of the sign to make sure that the double stick tape was the exact same size as the sign. One of the tricks using this fast cap is it's almost impossible to get the backing off of it. So you just sit there and peel and careful and get your fingernail over there, and eventually you get it off.
I've actually used an X-Acto knife to try to help me get a hold of that little paper, though, and it works well, too.
Oh, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, just be careful not to cut yourself, but just to kind of pry that corner loose.
And then the easy part, stick them to the buildings.
Yes.
The buildings have texture to them, so, they just kind of sit there, but that's the same way the original Pola stickers, they just kind of ride on the surface like that. And the actual sign, if there was a wood sign up here, it'd just be riding on the surface too.
Yes, couple of nails and away you go.
So it looks just fine, and like I say, even though that isn't very watertight behind there, hopefully it's water resistant enough that these, 2 years from now, all these signs are going to be sitting here looking exactly like they look right now.
Let's hope.
And if they don't, we got a drawer full of them.
Yes, and it's always fun to change out anything.
I had, of course, already figured out where the signs were going to go like a year ago when I was putting the lights on the building.
Exactly.
These are those Locomotive Joe lights. You turned me on to those.
Oh, yes. He's a great modeler. I ordered Christmas from him before.
Yeah, that was you bought me these for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're in several locations here, and I put them on the buildings anticipating that these signs would be here. So now as soon as the signs go up, they're already all lit up.
Isn't that neat?
The signs on the end of the depot end up kind of in obscure locations up behind things, but I think that's even neater looking.
Oh, I like that.
So anyway, there it is, all done. It's a sign.
There you go. Or several.
The signs are all up on the village, ready to move on to some other projects and also just have some fun with it.
Oh, this is so much fun.
We bought some fire engines. And so the mayor and the townspeople all came out to see the new fire engine. It's sort of like when we were kids and you'd just play.
Well, that's kind of like my mom told me when I was getting interested in boys. They still playing with the fire engine.
Well, I never gave that up.
I can see.
And while I never played with dolls, I played with figures, which is exactly the same thing.
Action figures. I was told that by my brother. Action figures.
So this is the action figure of the mayor. This is not a doll. It's an action figure.
Oh, I think he's a doll. He's kind of cute.
He is. Well, we're going to be moving on to more projects out here at Grapevine Village, and we're also going to run some trains around finally.
Yes.
People say, why don't you run your trains? It's like, I enjoy building the railroad.
And taking pictures.
And and at some point in time, though, you got to pull the trains out and run those around. So that's coming up.
Yep.
And you want to see that. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, do subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, doesn't hurt, doesn't cause wars or anything. And you can do that by clicking on the upcoming blue button. Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you did not find it boring, and we will see you here on Tuesday.
Right.
We'll see you then.
We'll see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.